Let's learn about configuring static routes as permanent and floating routes. In this lesson, we will use this network diagram in which IT Life Skills main router and IT Life Skills R2 router have been configured with all the options, and IT Life Skills R1 has been configured with a static route to the subnet 10.0.2.0/24, and it used the Ethernet connection. The problem is that the Ethernet connection is so unstable, it is flopping all the time, which makes the IT Life Skills R1 to remove the static route when the connection is down and then reinstall it when the Ethernet connection is up. To avoid that situation on the IT Life Skills R1, we want to configure a permanent route to the subnet 10.0.2.0/24 using the Ethernet connection. A permanent static route is a route that is always installed in the routing table even when the connection that it uses is failed. To configure a permanent route at the router configuration mode, we issue the command to configure the static route, then add the keyword permanent, then hit enter. Here we are at the privilege mode of the router IT Life Skills R1. First, let's verify the routing table by using the command show IP route, then hit enter. As you can see, this static route has been installed into the routing table, and it uses the fast Ethernet 01 as the outgoing interface. Let's shut down the interface F01. Let's go to the interface F01 and issue the command shutdown, then X out of this. Now let's verify the routing table again. As you can see, the static route got removed from the routing table as soon as we shut down the interface fast Ethernet 01. Now let's bring the interface back up. Let's go to the configuration mode, then go to the interface fast Ethernet 01, then issue the command no shut, then hit enter. Now let's verify the routing table again by using the same command show IP route. As you can see, the static route got reinstalled into the routing table. This behavior becomes an issue in production when the connection is flopping all the times. To avoid that issue, we should make the static route become permanent. First, let's verify the static route configuration. We need to use the command show IP route. Oh, actually it's show run, and then we filter for the section IP route, then hit enter. And here is the command to configure the static route. Let's go to the configuration mode, and to make it simple, just copy the static route command, then adding the keyword permanent, then hit enter. Now let's verify our configuration, show run, and filter for the section IP route. As you can see, the static route command here will make the route become permanent because we add the permanent keyword. Now let's verify it by going to the interface F01 and bring it down by using the command shutdown. Then X out this, and then verify the routing table, show IP route. As you can see, even though the interface fast Ethernet 01 is down right now, but the static route still stays in the routing table. Now for the completeness, just bring the interface back up. Let's go to the interface fast Ethernet 01 and issue the command no shut, and that's it. We have just configured the permanent static route. As you may know, permanent routes work best in the scenario when there is only one connection and the connection is flapping all the times. However, it becomes a problem when we have a backup connection, since the permanent route will prevent the route for the backup connection from installing into the routing table. Now let's remove the permanent route and make it a regular static route. To remove a permanent route at the router configuration mode, we issue the command to configure the permanent route and add the keyword no in front of it, then hit enter. Then we enter the command to configure the regular static route, then hit enter. Let's do it on IT Life Skills R1. First, let's check the static route configuration by using the command show run and filter for the section IP route. As you can see, this command is to configure the permanent static route. Let's first copy it. Then we go to the configuration mode and then put in the keyword no and paste, then hit enter. Now let's paste it again to configure the static route. We remove the permanent keyword and remove the no keyword in the front, then hit enter. Now let's verify it. As you can see, this command is for a regular static route. On the router IT Life Skills R1, we have just removed the permanent route to the subnet 10.0.2.0/24 and configure a regular static route to it. Now we can make the serial connection as a backup by configuring a floating route that uses the interface S21 as the outgoing interface. Let's configure a floating route. A floating route is a route that has higher administrative distance than the preferable route. Therefore, it is only installed into the routing table when the preferable route is failed and got removed from the routing table. To configure a floating route at the router configuration mode, we need to issue the command IP route, and then we provide the network ID, the subnet mask, the outgoing interface, the next hop IP address, and to make it less preferable, we need to provide the administrative distance, and in this case we provide the administrative distance up to 54, then hit enter. Let's do it on IT Life Skill Router 1. Here we are at the privilege mode. We need to go to the configuration mode, then issue the command IP route 10.0.2.0 subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and outgoing interface S21, next hop IP 10.0.0.6, and we can provide the administrative distance in the range of 1 to 255, and in this case, to make it a floating route, we can provide the administrative distance of 2 or above will work, but to be on the safe side, we just put the administrative distance of 254, then hit enter. Let's X out this and verify the routing table show IP route. As you can see, the floating route that we configure over here is not installed into the routing table of IT Life Skill Router 1. To make it install into the routing table, we need to go to this interface Fast Ethernet 01 and shut it down to make this static route failed and get removed from the routing table. Let's do it. Let's go to the configuration mode, then go to the interface Fast Ethernet 01, then shut it down and X out this. As you can see, the interface Fast Ethernet 01 is down now. Let's verify the routing table. Show IP route. As you can see, the floating route is now installed into the routing table when the preferable route is failed and got removed from the routing table. Let's look into a scenario in which the main connection is failed, but the floating route for the backup connection is not installed into the routing table. As you may notice, there's the IT Life Skill Switch 2 installed in between IT Life Skill R1 router and IT Life Skills R2 router. In this scenario, we will shut down the interface E02 on IT Life Skill Switch 2. Then we view the routing table on IT Life Skills R1 to see if the floating route is installed into the routing table. Here we are at the privilege mode of IT Life Skill Switch 2. Let's go to the interface E02 and bring it down by using the command shutdown. Then we want to wait until it is completely down, and here it is down right now. We can get back to IT Life Skill R1 router, and here we can ping the next hop IP address of the neighboring router 10.0.0.2, and as you can see, it's sending the ICMP echo message to the neighboring router now, but it never get any responsive back, which means the Ethernet connection to the neighboring router at the IP 10.0.0.2 is down right now. So let's verify the static route configuration. Show run and filter for the section IP route, then hit enter. As you can see, there's two route commands. The first one uses the Ethernet connection to the neighbor router at the IP 10.0.0.2, and we know that it is down right now. And there's a floating route because it has the administrative distance of 254 that uses the serial connection. And let's verify the routing table. Show IP route. In the routing table, we see that the route that uses the Ethernet connection, Fast Ethernet 01, is installed into the routing table, not the route that uses the serial connection. The reason is that when the connection to the neighbor router is down, the regular static route will not be removed from the routing table if its outgoing interface is still up. In this case, we know for sure that the Fast Ethernet 01 is still up. Therefore, the floating route will not be installed into the routing table. The solution to install the floating route when the main connection is down is that on IT Life Skill Router 1 we will configure the IP SLA to monitor the next hop IP 10.0.0.2. Then we attach the monitor to the static route that uses the main connection. The static route is only installed into the routing table if the monitor status is OK. We will learn to configure the IP SLA in another video. Let's read the keynotes for this lesson. This is the end of this lesson. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.